Once upon a time, and the happy kingdom of a couple loves through King Sudhodana and Queen Mahamaya found out that they were going to have a baby. So the queen decided to go to her father's house. On the way, they came to Lumbini Gardens, where she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, whom they called Siddhartha. Sadly, 7 days later, the queen died. A wise man named Khalid Allah told the king that when Siddhartha grew up, he would see things that would make him unhappy and cause him to leave for the forest. The king therefore never allowed Siddhartha to go outside the palace gates. Siddhartha was a bright and happy child who was very caring and gentle. One day, Siddhartha and his cousin Devadatta were taking a walk. Devadatta suddenly spotted a swan and shot it down. They then ran to see the wounded bird. Siddhartha was horrified. To see the wounded bird, he pulled out the arrow and applied some herbs over the wound. Devadatta insisted on keeping the bird for himself, so they went to the wise man of the court, who declared that the swan belonged to the person who saved it and not to the person who tried to take its life away.
Siddhartha often sat by himself one day. Siddhartha accompanied his father to watch a bullfight, but after a while he quickly slipped that way. He was later found meditating under the tree, quiet and happy by himself. The prince grew up and became a young man. King Sudhodana gotten married to the beautiful princess Yashodhara. But Siddhartha wasn't happy in the palace. One day he told his son Chana, "Let's go for a ride outside the palace." On the way, the prince saw a man bathed with age. The prince had never seen an old man before. "What is that?" he asked Chana. "That is an old man," sighed Chana. "We will all grow old one day, prince." The prince was very upset and went back to his palace. After a few days, Siddhartha went out again. This time, he saw a very sick man who was crying out in pain. Siddhartha had never seen a sick man before, and so he asked Chana, "Why is that man crying? He is sick and is crying." pain replaced Chana. Again, Siddhartha was very upset and went back to the palace.
The next time Siddhartha went out, he saw a group of people carrying a dead body. Chan explained to Siddhartha that he was seeing a dead person and said, "One day we will all die." Siddhartha realized that his father had kept him inside the palace to protect him from this thing. He asked himself, must we all fall sick and die? Is there no other way? Siddhartha went out again. This time he saw a man with the shaved head, wearing orange robes and carrying a bowl in his hand. The man looked very content. Siddhartha asked Shana, "Who is that man?" Shana said, "That is wise man who has left everything and gone to the forest to seek happiness." Siddhartha thought over all the things he had seen. He then decided to leave home in search of happiness. So one night, while his wife and son Raula were fast asleep, Siddhartha, along with his faithful servant Chana, quietly left the palace. They traveled together till they crossed the river Anoma. There Siddhartha took off his royal robes. He gave his clothes and his horse to Chana to carry back to the palace. He then put on an orange robe, cut off his long hair, and set out with a bowl in hand. Siddhartha went from teacher to teacher, asking, "Do you know the way to happiness?" But nobody could tell him. Finally, he sat under a Bodhi tree and tried to find the answer himself. Many days later, his quest ended. He had now become a wise man, and people called him Gautama Buddha.
Buddha loved all animals and treated them with compassion. Once, his jealous cousin David attacked, sent a wild elephant to attack Buddha. However, once seeing Buddha, the elephants bowed down before him. Gautama Buddha had many disciples. He went from place to place, teaching people what he had learned. His students lived in groups called Sangha. He preached that one could attain happiness, be behind content with what one had, as showing compassion to all behind. When Buddha returned to Hapuratsu, his father, wife, and son, along with many others, became his disciples. One of his relatives, called Ananda, became Buddha's faithful disciple and took care of him when he grew old. Buddha preached for another 45 years. By then he had become old man of 80 years. Finally, at the place called Kusinara, he laid down below the salad trees and breathed the last.